In theory, you go, what a great idea, Sin City 300, they're all amazing looking projects that are out there that are shooting on green screen. And then you shoot the pilot and you go, oh my God, what are we, crazy?
From a story and effects standpoint, these are huge shows. To me, what makes an effect work is that it's propelling the story forward. You know, stopping for any length of time to watch an effect happen is a mistake. You know, what we try to do with Sanctuary, because it is so well written, we just want to help out whatever way we can to make that work or to add some more dynamics.
The decision to turn Sanctuary into a virtual show came from Martin Wood. It fell to Martin to really kind of envision it, to plot it out and execute it, and he did it brilliantly, and he continues to do it brilliantly.
When you've got a show like Sanctuary, and you can do virtually anything, it's the biggest candy store that you could open up to those of us in production, and it's quite amazing. The virtual bit is something that people are familiar with movies, but they're not necessarily familiar with this happening on television. We're technologically pushing an envelope that most people haven't even seen sitting on the table yet.
We were excited about the prospect of using Red Camera. I mean, Red Camera is really more like a computer with a lens on it than it is a traditional camera. It's a tapeless system, so we're not recording to tape. It's all stored on hard drives and it's taken back to Anthem. We're actually doing the entire post-process on the show. The images themselves are 4,000 lines of resolution, or 4K images, which is higher resolution than traditional HD is. It makes the compositing of, you know, a scene where everyone's standing around on a green screen and we have to put a whole set in behind them. It makes the marrying of those images much easier to do when you've got these perfectly sharp images to work with.
I think this is going to be unlike anything visually that anyone's ever seen. We can be almost anywhere in the world. We can shoot in the catacombs underneath the Vatican, and we can be on the top of a skyscraper. Then we can be anywhere. We can be in a subway tunnel where it's a green screen and all of a sudden a train was, you know what I mean? We can do anything.
Squid!
You bring them?
Yeah.
There are a few different kinds of shots that we're doing on the show. I mean, there's the full-blown environments where actors are walking around a green screen and we're creating an entire room, set, or location. In some of these, there's a technique called projection mapping, where you're actually taking real-world surfaces and textures and projecting them onto polygons, like flats. So it's almost like the Western town in the movies, where you know, if you go here, there's just the flat side of it, there's nothing behind. But if we know that we're going to be there episode after episode, then we'll build them in much more detail in three-dimensional space.
Whether you build a set on a soundstage or whether you build it in a hard drive, you still have to design and build it. And that takes time and money. It's not like there's a, you know, you can go to Amazon.com and pick your favorite, you know, monster set and just download it and shoot in it. But that said, there's a whole other palette we can access, because our VisFX team and our actors' ability to absolutely emotionally bond with what isn't there yet will sell it. There are limits to what you can do practically. But I know that we are creating a look and a feel and settings that no other one-hour sci-fi show is able to do.
Where the hell are we? To be honest, no idea.
There's nothing like working in a scene and having Marty say, okay, so now you're standing on the edge of the building and you and Amanda are doing your scene, and look out there, there's a bright, you know, old city out there, and you kind of paint an image in your mind of what it is during the scene. And then to walk in and see what Lee has done and what's actually there. It's just so thrilling.
We knew from the beginning that we were trying to achieve something that hadn't been done in terms of just the sheer amount of work, because you can take an episode and say, okay, it's got two fairly complicated creatures in it, and that would be more on its own than you would normally have in a television show. But oh yeah, right, we're also creating the world that they live in and the sets they're on and all of the backgrounds they appear in. We have a great creature crew at Anthem, and I have to say that this is something that has a big team behind it. My visual effects crew members are creating these creatures and these environments, and it's got to propel the story forward and put the audience in a place where you would never be able to go normally on a television series. And, you know, it's not about just finishing it, delivering it. It's, we want to be proud of it. We want to look at this and think, when do you ever see this on TV?